Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I am the Couch Warrior, and you are watching The Passage, the Skyrim SE Let's Play, featuring our protagonist, Ettient Jorel. When we last left off, we set up a little makeshift camp in this interesting little spot here. I was not able to set up a tent in this tiny space, but what I was able to do is use some of the supplies I had to kind of make a makeshift bed out of furs and other materials. So I just laid that thing out here, and there you have it. So, we've gotten a night of rest. Now we're going to pack up and continue on our way. Let's pack this up. All right. So, what are we going to accomplish today? Excellent question. Well, as it is now, I think Ettient is not quite out of the woods when it comes to just plain old survivability. I think he's got a lot of unfamiliar territory to explore here. Think about how the deck is stacked against him right now. It doesn't really matter how accomplished a scout or a ranger you are. When you're in unfamiliar territory here, when you're in a situation where it's you against potentially thousands of enemies on their home territory, the one and only, or the single most important thing that you have in that battle is surprise and your anonymity, right? Because they know the terrain better than you do, and it's going to take him a while to kind of figure out what's going on, where things are at, the extent of the reach. I mean, look at this place. It's vast. It's vast. And he's only scratched the surface of it so far. You know, he's probably still just an hour or two hike away from Dragon Bridge. So we haven't really come that far. So there is a lot to do in terms of exploration. However, we have to do that in as careful a way as we possibly can. Now, I'm encumbered here, so we're going to have to ditch some things, and my guess is it's this deadwood. So, let's just drop it here. How encumbered am I? Let's see if we can't keep a few. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how long it'll last here in the game world, but we've got a little cache of wood. This is a nice defensible spot. I think we could come back to this at some point and use the spot again. So, Ettient is, you know, he's still getting comfortable with the environment. He's still getting geared up. He's still looking for a place to kind of call his base of operations. And frankly, he's looking for a starting point. Now, he's encountered his first Forsworn camp, but it really didn't provide us much in terms of clues about what's going on with the Forsworn in this area. He's just going to have to, I think, be committed to further exploring the countryside and figuring out what this is all about and kind of equipping himself as he goes. So that's really what Ettient is up to here. You know, it just with each passing day, gaining a further sense of security. There's an arrow. Ah, look at this. Did we get this stuff already? We didn't. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Now, we are going to, let's talk a little bit about what the next steps are here from a roleplay perspective. Ooh, wait a second. Got aggression here? We gotta book it out of here. Woo! Oh, holy hell. Okay, let's sit tight. Sit tight. We may be able to use this to our advantage. Ooh. Cat's giving us the stink eye. We gotta be careful. I think those are forsworn over there. Something crazy's going on over there. Question is, can I pit my enemies against each other? The only way that's going to work is if I can draw them into the cat or vice versa, and I don't think I'm going to be able to outrun that cat. Look at, they're just going crazy over there. Ooh, eyes on you. We got eyes on you. Look at, he's pissed. And this is a technique that's going to be probably one of our best friends. I mean, this is obviously kind of a solo mission. Maybe there will be times when Ettient would take on a follower, but I'm not sure about that. Okay. That cat's making me nervous. No, I can't outrun him. Okay, so what's my next option? Holy crap, is that another one? Let's get to the high ground. So one of the things I would like to do now, we're 4 episodes in, is start doing a little bit more exploration of Ettient Jorel as a character, who he is. And we're going to take it in bite-sized pieces. There's a lot of stuff to unpack here. There's you know, issues of his psychology. There's questions of you know, his morality, questions about his relationship to others and society, and we're not going to try to tackle all that in one episode, but we can start to cover this in bite-sized pieces. So I thought that in this episode it might be interesting to start a bit of an exploration into who Ettient is morally. You know? And there's a lot here. I mean, there's more to discuss than we could possibly discuss in one episode on just this topic. But I'd like to explore one particular aspect of this idea of morality. And that is kind of his relationship with killing and with warfare and what this means. What his personal philosophy is and how that kind of feeds into his personality type. And so kind of, you know, here's what I've come up with. What we know of Ettient at this point is that he is an experienced warrior. And I'm not talking about a warrior like a warrior champion, not like in that sense. He's a warrior in that he understands the operations of a military unit. He knows what it means to be in pitched battle. He knows what war is because he's experienced it. And he knows what it means to win a war and what it means to lose a war because he's experienced both of those things. And so the question is, how does that shape him as a person, right? Because Skyrim is the sort of place that forces you to kill if you want to survive. And I don't think there are any of us who would necessarily consider, you know, somebody who kills in a war situation to be a person who is evil. So what does that mean in practical terms? Well, for Ettient, the way that I look at this is he's a man who is capable of caring and is capable of compassion, although these are emotions that are, you know, are probably strangers to him in recent history. But I think of it as a philosophy that he refers to as the game. War and killing and in all the horrors that come with it are part of the game. And once you've entered the game, the world changes. And what I mean by that is that he looks at the people around him and he makes an evaluation. If you draw your sword, that is essentially you putting your chip on the game board and declaring your intent to be part of the game. And if you declare your intent to be part of the game, then you are, in essence, declaring your willingness to die for whatever it is. And so, while he may walk through a town and be respectful to people and stuff like that, if somebody draws a sword, that is casting your chip on the game board. And that is making a declaration that says, I'm a warrior, and I understand the rules, and there is no second place. Second place is dead. And so this is kind of I would say, an informal code that he lives by. So if somebody were to come to Ettient Jorel and say, hey, what's your code? He wouldn't be able to tell you because he doesn't know. This is a subconscious thing. So when he walks into a town or he walks into an inn, he's looking around. He's looking around at the people there, and he's making a judgment call. Who are the people here who have the capacity to drop their chip on the game board? And those are the people I want to keep an eye on. And I think that after many years as a soldier, fighting in wars that are probably very ugly, and after a career of 25 years or more in piracy, basically living and working and interacting with each and every day a group of people who every single day of their lives put their chip on the game board. He has a certain sort of ironic or jaded view of the world. So I think for Ettient, he doesn't feel cheated by life. He just feels like life is what it is. You know? He's accepted the fact that in all likelihood, when he dies, he's going to die by the sword. And that's fine. That's fine. That is a fate that he has accepted as truth. And it is core to the way that he lives his life. So...
Halt, Outlander! By the code of Malakath, this stronghold belongs to the orcs. Your kind are unwelcome.
I'm just a traveler. What is this place?
This is our stronghold. Here, we are free to live as Malakath intended, away from the prying eyes of the Lords.
She's up in the wall there.
You're not an orc or bloodkin, so stay out. We only help our own.
Okay. Are there other strongholds out here? That seems like a sensible question for him to ask under the circumstances.
There are a few great strongholds worthy to talk about. Dushnik Jarl, Morkazgur, Narzobur,
Okay.
and Lagerspur.
I don't need to be convinced to be let in. I'm content to know who these people are. Okay, so the orcs have a presence in the Reach. So that's kind of what I think about, right? So there's always this question, right? What a lot of times people will boil it down is Ettient a character who's capable of killing in cold blood? Well, that depends on what you mean by cold blood, right? He's not going to walk into a home and murder the family and steal their things. That's not who he is. You know, but if he finds himself playing the game, if you declare that you're playing the game, then you are fair game, right? And that's a completely different thing. That is a battle amongst warriors who have declared in some way that you know, it's time to figure out who's alpha. And so, you know, you think about that, living 25 years as a pirate, you know, involved in piracy both on land and sea. He's basically cooped up on a ship with probably a lot of people who consider themselves to be alpha. And what does it take to survive in a group like that? So I think that, you know, I described him earlier as a person who's hard-boiled, who's a pragmatist, who has a kind of ironic and sort of sardonic sense of humor, who talks about death as if it's an inevitability and it doesn't really matter. That's kind of how I see him right now, which, when you think about it, makes him a person who's ill-equipped necessarily in his current state of mind to fight for a cause. He fights because fighting is how it's done, and that's really how I view him at this point. Now, that's not to say that he won't change, because roleplay is all about evolution of the character, right? So it'll be exciting to see where he goes from here, what he makes of the world. But right now, he's found himself thrown into unfamiliar territory where it's kind of already been established that in this rugged, dangerous place, there's a lot of people who have thrown their chip on the game board. And he's just one of many. So, you know, this is a time for caution and planning and getting to know the place in which he's operating. So, you know, I'm kind of wandering around right now, but in essence what I'm doing is I'm just making observations. You know, he's getting the lay of the land. He's looking for places that could be good hideouts or camping spots or ambush points or places to gather food or high traffic areas for ambushes or places to avoid, things like that. And, you know, after so many years of piracy, so many years out of the scouting game, he's learning how to sort of flex the ranger muscles again, if you will, and how to be alert, you know, how to move quietly from place to place and how to survive and all those kinds of things, which I think is very cool. So, you know, I'm telling you this because it's food for thought. I mean, obviously, I've thought about the higher heights of this concept of the game, the Warriors game. And he has spent his entire life playing the game and living by this sort of subconscious set of rules where, you know, you walk into the room and there's a certain group of people in that room who understand the game, they know about it, and you can almost see them in your mind's eye, those grizzled warriors who are standing among people who don't understand what's going on around them, and they're baring their teeth at one another and in silent challenge saying, you know, are you going to stand up to me? Are you going to be the one who draws first? Or are we going to walk away from this thing and everybody's going to live to fight another day, right? So there's that sort of level of tension in his life, and when you combine that with the fact that he is a man who's under an extreme amount of pressure from the Thalmor, and is concerned, obviously, about his sister. If he wasn't concerned about her, then they would not be able to use that as leverage. So he obviously has some feelings for her. Although in my game, and we will cover this in another episode when I talk about the circles of character conflict, he doesn't have much family left, and what family he does have, he's estranged from because of his criminal activities. He just doesn't see them anymore, and they don't really acknowledge him, and it's just kind of a thing you don't talk about, right? But that doesn't mean he doesn't still have some feelings for his family. He would never wish them ill. So his objective is just to do what he's told, to get the job done, to strive for his freedom. If his sister never sees him or acknowledges him again, that's absolutely fine, provided she doesn't get killed because of what he's doing. That's the thing that matters, right? That's what matters to him. Are these forsworn? So, anyway, that is something to think about. So, give it some thought. Provide some feedback in the comments below if you've got any thoughts on that. This is obviously just one kind of small aspect of the whole question of morality, but I thought that it was a good place to start because it answers that sort of age-old question, measuring morality by whether or not a person is capable of killing in cold blood, right? Certainly, I think Ettient is capable of killing in cold blood, but it depends on what's at stake, you know? And it's not something that he goes around doing. But, as I said, if the chips are on the game board, if the game is declared, then he fights to win, and he will do anything he needs to win. He will fight dirty, he will cheat, he will do whatever needs to do to come out on top, and that's just the kind of fighter he is. Hey, friend. Easy there. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. I'm no threat. Just backing it up. All right. Looter. All right, so if we continue to head that direction, this, you know, the elevation gets higher, it gets colder. So I think what we need to do is just proceed deeper into the Reach, because this is the battleground and we got to get familiar with it. So we understand that there's orc strongholds in this area, so they're going to be a presence throughout the area we're operating in, so good to know. We've seen some Forsworn, we've encountered saber cats and bears. We're starting to really get a sense for where the threats are. Wolves. Ooh, long shot though. Let's get some elevation so we can see better what is going on. So obviously with, you know, with everything we've got to do here, there's going to be some wandering, you know, wandering around kind of getting our bearings, but that's cool. I hope you're all doing well. I am doing fine. I have been releasing videos at a rather brisk clip, and in large part, that's because I am thoroughly enjoying playing this. It's like Darkfall Cave. We should look in here. it's possible this could be a place where we could make a base of operations if it's not inhabited. Oh, torches. Somebody's in here. Good, does it? And by not good, I mean not uninhabited. Ideally, we'd be looking for a place uninhabited where we could hide out and operate from. This may very likely not be it. There's torches in here. It means it's occupied. More beasts. Oh, let's take the venom. Spiders, not good. We got a dagger, right? There we go. That's awesome. He's still part of the Thalmor faction, so he's using Thalmor language. Bow to your betters. That's great. I love that. Somebody didn't make it out alive. I've been so immersed in what I'm doing that I've not even ventured to create any hotkeys to anything. Who's down here? Oh, a pick. Could be handy. They fall in? Maybe it is empty. Okay. Let's take a look here. I'm pretty sure I've got a torch. Picked up some torches somewhere. Let's do that. Maybe miners. Miners is in people digging in the rocks, not younglings coming in here to drink mead. Oh! How did that kill me? That ain't right. I'm going to go check that out one more time. I mean, I know that that bridge collapse is something that is, I think, part of stuff that happens in Dawnguard. But if they don't want me to do it yet, why not just let me come back across? Why drop me in there and automatically kill me? That just seems lame. Run. Run. Okay. Did I hit something on the way down? Is that what happened? Oh. Okay. Hello. Oh my god. What? Woo! Oh my god. Wait, which way? Where are we going? Oh. Whoa! Oh my god, are you kidding me? Bad. Very bad. You die, please. Where the hell are we? There's a spider. Oh. Got you. Come out. It's bad. I can't see a thing. There he is. He's there. Okay, can I jump up here? There we go. Ha! Okay. Alright, this is interesting. I was not planning on doing this at all. In fact, to tell you the truth, I didn't think it would even be possible for me to fall in there. The only reason I went back to explore it a second time is because I was kind of miffed. Gotcha. Okay, this is... bad. Oh. Keep it off me. Fire as fast as you can. Keep circling. Oh, this is the worst. Oh, ho, ho, ho. How is this guy so hard to kill? Okay, normally encounter with spiders doesn't bother me so much, but this, frankly, I find to be terrifying. Yeah, we gotta get out of this water. Okay, quick, let's do a little inventory here. This is not good. Okay. Thankfully, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I did take the time to make a couple more bundles of arrows overnight between our last episode and this one, so I'm not completely out. Gosh. With so many spiders about, I'm really reluctant to light a torch, but I surely would like to see. Okay. I apologize if you're having any difficulty with the brightness. I typically get complaints like that from people who are watching my videos, particularly on Apple devices. You know, iPhones and iPads, the glossy screen, and something about the contrast of those screens, even though they're beautiful, they make everything look rich. They make the darks very dark. There's really nothing I can do about it at the moment. So let's just continue on. If I felt like it was safe, I would light a torch, but I just don't think it is. We gotta figure out how we're gonna get out of here. Uh-oh. The note. Let's take that. Let's look at the note. Darkfall Cave Note. Sister, I know that you'll come find me, but it will be too late. If you find this letter, get out of this forsaken cave as soon as possible. We were fools to think we could live so close to such creatures and live peacefully. I should have headed back to camp with you after we placed the torches down here. I thought these trolls would be different, that they would somehow understand that we didn't want to hurt them. I'm now cornered, and it's only a matter of time before one of the trolls decides to finish me off. I hope this is a quick death. Farewell, my dear sister. All right. Well, we know what we're facing. We're facing trolls, and we know where the torches came from, and we know that the last of the people to place the torches down here is gone or dead. So that is explained. So we don't have to be fretting about a mysterious enemy that may or may not be down here. Resist fire. Dagger. A lot of resist fire. This is their gear. Ooh, steel bolts. If only I'd had a crossbow. Here's a question for you, everyone. Okay, so how do you go about role-playing situations that involve potions? So your character finds a bunch of potions like we just found. How do you reconcile that your character is somehow able to know what each of those potions does? It's not as if they're clearly labeled, right? So I'm just curious. It's one of those questions that, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, but I thought it might be kind of interesting to ask you about it and see what you all think. Let's see. I gotta get some kind of a weapon going, and it's sad to say, but the Forsworn sword is about the best I'm going to do at this point, which is somewhat disturbing. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode. We've gotten ourselves into a bit of a sticky wicket. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that you will join me for the next episode of The Passage. I'll see you next time.